Well,
Well, what a start to this episode already. Peru
Well.
just spilled all of his alcoholic drink on my bed.
I will apologize. It wasn't all of it, and it wasn't intentional, as you saw.
No, that is true. It wasn't intentional. It was merely an accident.
It wasn't like me being like sloppy. It was just me not realizing that the drink had a dent at the lip.
and the way it poured directly on my fucking charger and the fucking extension cord, and the way I was like, oh, we'll probably start an electrical fire, but
Well,
we lived.
The way it started was actually meant to be even cuter, because you were using one of my catchphrases. You were saying mommy juice, and you were like being like really sweet. You were having like an endearing moment with me. You were like, yay, mommy juice,
and then you ruined it, and then you ruined that beautiful moment.
When I saw your face go from mommy juice to like splash,
I was like, oh no, it's fine. I'm like, I don't care necessarily about spills and things, but like I have had friends where like as soon as like I've spilled something, immediately I could like they want to murder me. Like I can tell that they want to kill me and they want me dead, but they like refuse to say anything because they're trying to be nice about it. But I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Well, when it comes to stuff like that, I realized it's like, okay, what just happened? It's just, like it's a splash on like, yeah, it's fixable, it's washable. Worst comes to worst, you can get dry cleaned or like what.
I'm just doing a little barrier so there's no echo.
Oh my god! Listen, I am so sorry for last episode. We didn't
wait real quick.
You're Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick, and this is Pioneers and Trailblazers.
Sans echo, let's hope.
Well, we'll see. I mean, sometimes when I'm editing, there are issues that are unfortunately out of my pay grade and skill level.
Yeah,
to deal with.
I just was surprised that resurfaced because I wasn't. Well, I guess particularly me. I wasn't being any louder than I usually am.
The microphone would beg to differ.
You think so?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the issue was. I mean, I will say when I was editing, it didn't sound like there was that much of an echo. And then when I uploaded it to Spotify and started playing it, I was like, oh, weird.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know what's going on. There's just technical difficulties this week. There's like stuff going on with like the stars and like astrology.
Yeah, which I guess is a great way to just start this podcast saying, we are first and foremost talent. We are not sound technicians. And in order for us to be able to get one, for the quality to be consistent, we are working on something that was suggested to us via someone who works in this field professionally, which will be fixed.
Right. We will be getting new microphones.
We'll be getting new microphones. And
eventually.
Anyone who watches this and looks at us and they're like, wow, if you're in the field and you're like, those microphones are not meant to be used that way, we know.
We're aware. We are doing what we can with what we have.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and that is a testament to our resourcefulness, and we can create amazing. We can give a product under budget, and it is just fine. It is a really does the bare minimum.
Yeah, because ultimately, what counts is the content.
What matters is the content and the passion and drive behind it.
After already having proven that we can provide the good standards, this is not just us being mediocre with mediocre tools. We're clearly
we're not
superstars.
Lazy.
We're not lazy.
We're
it just happened to be a one-off where technical things just won.
No, but it happens. But
you know who won in another department in which I am a professional, which is fucking, I guess. I don't get paid for it, but maybe I could.
You should start.
Okay, so update town hall update. I guess I'm starting with this because it could start a conversation. Wow, look at me. This conversation could start a conversation.
So it's really groundbreaking stuff, actually.
Thank you. So how we were talking about how both of us, a former coworker of ours, is now like a professional OF content creator.
Did you have plans to have sex with him? You're kidding. You're serious? Wait, when?
Yes. So
I'm gooped and gagged.
So I was like,
is he gonna fuck you?
Of course.
But doesn't he mostly? I mean, I did find the Twitter. Doesn't he mostly just bottom?
He does both. And let me tell you, he puts that Portuguese, as we've called it here, Portuguese sausage, and he's called it.
I'm sorry, not we. It has been only you.
We as a collective, and also he referred to it at work, which is an appropriate conversation to have, mind you, at work for sure. Refer to your 9-inch cock as a Portuguese sausage because he is half Portuguese. I will not be disclosing the. I would have disclosed the OnlyFans account if it weren't now that I'm actually gonna be not in it. But
wait, but how did you go about doing that? Were you just hit him up and were like, hey, wanna fuck?
Okay, so here's the thing. I have been telling you, like, I'm a person, as we were just discussing, who likes to be good at their craft, and I pride myself in being great at sex. I'm a great bottom, if not amazing. I think I'm a bare minimum. I'm great, and like when I'm really rocking it out, I'm great, amazing, incredible. I ended up having sex with the guy from if you remember last week's episode, that guy that we were like, quote unquote, rushing for me to go to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We ended up having drinks at the spot, which, by the way, every bartender at the spot is so hot. If you live in New York City, go to the spot for happy hour before 9 p.m.
Well, you buy one, get one free.
Buy one, get free, and all the fucking bartenders are hot. There's something for everyone there.
Sure.
You don't think so?
I mean, it's cute and fun. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the bartenders when I go to a bar, mostly because I'm like, I mean, I appreciate, but I also know, like, they're at their job, they're doing their job. But
but they're the ones to, like, like, flirt with and, like, check out. You're the ones you
want I never flirt with a bartender because I'm always just like, I respect the work you do.
No wonder you never get free drinks.
I never get free drinks.
Girl.
No one ever buys me a drink. No one ever offers
Someone did just buy you a drink at my show.
Someone did buy me a drink. Actually, no, I only ever get free drinks when it's like the compassion of like a kind individual who just like feels bad for a straight individual who just feels bad for me. And it's just like, oh, you're struggling. Like you have, like you can just tell. And then I'm like, I can Venmo you that. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like we can handle it.
I would have given you a free drink ticket had you arrived on time.
I'm sorry, I blame the F train for that one. That was not my doing, and I also wasn't the only one late. And I showed up. I'm sorry, there were people who showed up even later than I did.
I know.
And and I'm not gonna.
I mean, we could get to, but I mean, let me finish
finish your story.
And then I'll talk about the show because it was so sweet. But I had sex with a guy from last week. It was an incredible fuck sesh. Incredible in the fact that, like, It was comfortable, it was great, like, he was definitely a good top, like a caring top. He like wanted to lube me up properly, he ate me out, all this stuff. But I told you a little bit about this, like, his thing was like he was being dom verbally, which I love a verbal top in general. But then part of his like verbal stuff was like, oh, fuck yeah, like, yeah, oh, but now I'm going to take it slow. Okay, yeah, let's go slow now because I want to take care of you. I want to make sure that you're okay. And he was like, almost like babying me in a sense.
I would start crying.
You mean like a baby?
Yeah, that would heal every daddy issue that I had right there in that moment. My
And so, I told you at one point, right, like, he was like, oh, yeah, and I was like, oh, my God, fuck me hard. He was like, no, we're doing slow strokes right now. I'm taking it easy with you because I love being inside you. Like, he would do all that stuff.
I'm into it.
And then the big reveal was that at one point, like, he was pounding me out, and we were like, and we went twice, actually. I came on the first, which usually never happens. Like, after like a good like 30 minutes, I came finally, and he was really getting off of that. Then we took a break, we cuddled, and then he was like, you wouldn't be up for me to finish, right? And I was like, absolutely. And I was like, I was a wet blanket at that point. I was like, every ounce of my body is wet. Like, I was just like, go ahead.
Oh my God.
and then like, he took some time. He was like, I'm so sorry it took me so long to come, but I just enjoyed being inside you. And so during the second round, he was like hugging me from behind and fucking me. And then he was like, oh yeah, I love that fucking pussy. I love you so much. And I was like,
I love you too. No, I haven't had somebody tell me that they love me during sex before. I'm waiting for it. Okay, you don't have to mean it. You can just tell it to me. Just in that moment, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we just met and we really did have a good connection sexually. I feel like it was a really good session. But like, obviously, like, I don't love the guy and he doesn't love me. At least I don't think. Well,
could you imagine?
He did buy tickets to my show. I told you famously, and didn't show up.
He didn't come, but he bought a ticket, so he still made money off of him, and that's all that matters.
And so, like, based on that, I was like, okay, like, there are certain things that I would like to do sexually, like when I watch like the professionals do it, and like, aside from the fact that I know realistically I will never do sex work because I love food too much. One, so like my diet could only be consistent for a specific period of time if I'm trying to like get fit for something.
Yeah, but not all of, but even like sex workers, like they all have varying body types, and you know what I mean.
I
like,
understand, but just the you know, like the physical care it takes to be a bottom is just like a lot of maintenance. There really is a lot of maintenance to bottoming.
How
like,
much maintenance do you really need,
girl? If to be able to like be on set, getting fucking plowed by fucking 4 guys for like about 3 hours.
Yeah, but they take breaks in between.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
I mean, it still takes a lot of work, and like
most of that's movie magic anyway.
I understand, but like for me, what I'm trying to talk about is like there are certain positions and certain things that I would like to do with like bigger dicks better, because sometimes like when the dick is too big, sometimes I feel like I'm only limited to like a couple ways I can show off, but I can't really like do things I want to do that I watch. Like there are certain things that I watch and I'm like, I want to do that.
Like what?
Like I want to be able to hold, for example, I want to be able to hold my thighs. Hold both my thighs. Your thighs, hold both my thighs, and not have to push the top off of me when they're like literally hammering themselves inside of me. And I can do that with like an average dick size, but I cannot do it with like an 8 or 9 incher.
Well, that's
like,
your problem in the first place. Why are you trying to do that? Why do you have a missionary with a 9 incher?
Because I think it's hard when they do it in the fucking films.
It's too big.
As I'm saying, when the bottom is literally doing it, and he's like literally not even trying to push the top away, like he's just getting plowed. Like I really want to practice on that.
Well, I pay attention when I'm watching porn sometimes. I've been doing this recently, where I like watch the bottom's facial expressions, because I can really tell whether or not they're actually enjoying themselves or not. Because for the longest time, like, you know, you see them and they're taking the 9 inchers or whatever, and oftentimes it may not seem like they're uncomfortable, but there are little hints where they're like whatever. And so I don't know, I often catching myself watching that and be like, yeah, I guess like watching is hot, but now that I know that the person on the receiving end may not be enjoying themselves as much, they're just kind of like white knuckling it through it just for the video's sake, for the job, I'm like, oh yeah, but then, why are you hurting yourself?
I know, but like Nick, you just mentioned a key part of that. It's like sometimes a job is a job and you have to get the job done, right? You know? So like that's what makes them professionals, and us just being like, wait, slow down.
Yeah, but even with that, I mean, yeah, to each their own. But even if I was in sex work, I would I don't know. I feel like there are ways to advocate for yourself.
You would be a different brand of sex work.
Sure, yeah, I'd be a very different man.
Yeah, and so the other one is like I really would love to just like, because you know sometimes like you can write like this is now just like a sex, like I literally like I don't know if we're gonna get demonetized for this.
We're all fully clothed.
Well, I know.
Like demonetized. I was like, okay, girl.
I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna.
It's so scandalous. You're literally just kneeling. That's all you're doing.
So like, okay, so you know like when you're writing. This is one way, because it's like a thrust, right? When you're just like thrusting, right? Are you following me? When you're just like going like this, you know, you're like thrusting it and whatever.
Sure.
And then there's the fucking porn writing in which they literally just go like this, and they're just like.
Oh, have you done that before?
So I've done it with average size penises, but I cannot do it with like a big. Dick.
I think I've been able to do kind of that version in which I'm like squatting on like big dicks. I've only been able to do that on big dicks, because like the shorter ones I haven't been able to, like, it's like
get the bounce.
The leverage is like it's too high.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But but I don't like doing that either, because then my legs cramp, because like I have to be really stretched out to do that.
Oh no, that's just like, I mean, unless I.
If I'm gonna be doing it for a minute, you know what I mean. If I'm being bouncing up and down on that.
That's what I mean. And then like the couple times where I've like wanted to like go back and forth, okay, whatever, you know. Now you know, gotta save some for like the guys that fuck me. I can spill all my secrets.
Well, speaking of big dick,
but just let me finish the story of this person. So I was like, I want to be able to practice with somebody that I wouldn't feel like self-conscious being like, okay, like how do you do this, or how, because this person that we're referring to, he's got like a big dick and he like, you know, tops, but he's also a great bottom. Like I've seen him bottoming online Great work.
What do you mean you've seen him bottoming online?
On his fucking OnlyFans.
Our work. I thought it sounded like you were still talking about the dude that you just had sex with.
No. That was just fun.
Right. So we're moving on to a different man. In case anyone's not following, because I wasn't following.
I'm so sorry.
We lost you, but we're back on track.
But we're
talking about the OnlyFans sex worker.
The OnlyFans sex worker who's our former coworker of ours.
Former coworker.
And so
what
I was telling Nick now that like I reached out to him recently because I was already teasing Nick. I was like, I think I'm gonna contact him, to just like do it. And so I was just like let me reach out and just.
Well, did you DM on like Instagram or did you text?
I texted him.
Oh, what'd you say?
So I said this was an intentional text that's not like at 2 a.m. so it doesn't feel like I'm just drunk and horny or whatever. This was at 8:25 a.m.
Early morning. It was early morning.
My alarm went off and it was like first thing on my to-do list.
Yeah, you had set a reminder. You set a reminder.
Yeah. I was like, I have an unusual proposition.
Oh God.
Been trying to practice taking bigger dicks more, and I thought maybe you could help me with that in a very recreational and practical way. No worries if that's too awkward for you, but thought we would be comfortable doing that and still be cool. I think that's pretty nice.
That is so forward. I would never.
Really?
Never in my life. In my life, I would never reach out to somebody and be like, someone that I worked with and be like, hey, I need to practice taking big dicks. Want to help?
Yeah, but also, this is also not just someone who like is like an accountant, and I'm just like, I heard it's just this is someone who works in the sex industry, so it's like
right. But even then, I would be way too. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a prude when it comes to expressing my like desire to other people. But like, I don't think I would be able to do that with someone I knew, like someone that I like, especially specifically that person. I would never in my life just unprovoked reach out and be like, hey.
I mean, we had texted before.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm thinking about anyone that we've ever worked with that like I like sometimes like have their number. I have their number to reach out to, and like.
Which is so funny because there are famously a handful of coworkers that we have that we would absolutely bend over for, no questions asked, that we would love.
I talk about it all the time.
I know, but the thing is, like, I guess the difference between you and I is that, like...
One of them was at your show on Friday.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, Saturday.
Oh, I know. He sent me a DM. Anyway,
he hugged me and it lingered. It lingered.
But... there is a sense of like sometimes people think my forwardness is just part of my comedy, they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But then like in comedy famously there is truth, and like I've like literally told these coworkers, I'm like, you could just fuck me tonight, like we could just fuck, like I've
and they're always like, Peru, you're so funny,
and then oh my god, no, but then I've been told by one of them, which is the one we're talking about, that like it hits too close to home. Like, we can't be working together and be doing that.
Oh, I see. But now they no longer work together.
Hey, eventually.
And what was his response?
And so then, back to OnlyFans, ex-coworker, now sex worker, said, morning to you too.
Good morning.
I'm always down to help in any way. What do you have in mind? Remember that I'm not shy and I don't care. Or do you just want me to tie you up and use the butt plug and leave you and then we just got into a conversation of like what exactly that I'm looking for, and I was like,
I see.
And so he was being very proactive and very sweet about it.
Is he charging you?
He was no.
Oh.
Yeah, he was being very sweet. He even like sent me the information of his partner to be like if I wanted to do something with them.
Oh, I didn't realize that they.
Yeah, because he's in a relationship,
oh, I didn't know that.
His partner is very big. Well, not very big, but like very into the like beat. Like, I guess you could call it part of the BDSM umbrella, but all they really focus is just on tying up and tying down.
They're just into bondage.
Mm-hmm. And
how long have they been together?
For like I don't know, like 6 months now or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But it seems that they're getting into business together too, because they both enjoy doing that, and it seems that they may be wanting to start with their own.
Is the partner also OnlyFans creator?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you're gonna have to send me the OnlyFans.
Yeah, of course. But I've seen some other work together too in bondage, and I was like, and then my inner prude came out, and I was like, no. No, I just want tradish.
Vanilla.
Vanilla for as vanilla as like that gets, just like getting pounded out like different ways. But like I guess that's vanilla to them. And then we just discussed like what I'm trying to do, and I was like, okay, and I think that could be fun for both of us, because we're both sex positive, but also it would be really beneficial for me to be able to have sex with you, and like in the middle of sex me being like, okay, so like how do you do this, like how do you do that, and then have him teach me tricks.
It's educational.
Yeah, because then he's also such a great bottom that like the best tops are the ones who have like bottomed previously, or at least have like an understanding on how bottoms work, you know.
Sure.
So they're away for Thanksgiving, but then the week after, then we're gonna set a date.
Wait, speaking of the week after Thanksgiving, DL Daddy, he has made a comeback. Oh God, unfortunately found out he is married to a woman. Like,
we don't. I mean, he has kids, so
I for the longest time thought maybe that it was just like a situation where he was divorced and then like whatever, because he wasn't wearing a ring. But now it makes sense that he just took it off before he fucked the shit out of me. But he did hit me up and was like, we've been chatting back and forth via Grindr since Halloween or whatever, since when we had that like little 2-day rendezvous sort of situation. And he was like, oh, I asked him when he was going to be in town next, and he said, oh, I'm going to be in town for Thanksgiving. And I said, oh, well, if you have any free time, let me know. Otherwise, like, if you can get away, I can also host if you're gonna be around family and stuff. And he's like, well, I'm gonna be with my wife and kids. And I was like, oh. You have a wife? I was like, no. But then he did message me the other day and said that he is staying the week after. He's coming for Thanksgiving and then is staying the week after for work. And so he'll be in town for work, and he asked if I wanted to have a all-week fuck fest. And I said, yeah, obviously.
Of course.
But I was just like...
Are you sure your wife wouldn't mind?
Well, here's the thing.
Sure?
I don't know. Like, I'm really thinking about it. And I'm like, am I going to be... Well, maybe it's open. I need to ask about it. Maybe they have like an agreement. They could be really progressive.
I hate to be that person, Nick, but you know that 90% of the chances are that he's just doing this secretly.
I know.
Now, I think there is...
And I feel bad. And I feel bad now that knowing that, like, he fully has a wife.
I think there is a little bit of, like, one, obviously, we kind of think like, it's kind of sexy because we're fucking fucked up.
Well, I am fucked up in that way, but, like...
Yeah, but it's because we're queer and, like, this, you know, there is, like, an addendum to this because it is... I don't mean to like say that straights don't have it hard, but they don't.
Sorry that my pussy's tighter than hers.
Boy pussy is fucking delicious.
It's so tight. It's tighter than her old lady pussy.
Pecan pie, more like pecan pussy.
Why don't you stuff my turkey?
Stuff my turkey.
No, my
tofurkey.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. I really don't know. But I didn't know that they were married, or he was married when I first had sex with him. So I am absolved of all wrongdoing in that situation. I did just find out.
Well, not anymore.
A couple of weeks ago.
You didn't know the second time.
I did know the second. Well, no.
You did.
I found out like 2 weeks ago that he's married. And I fucked him October 31st, November 1st.
Oh yes, Nick does remember the dates in which he fucks people.
I do remember. I have a really good memory. And then the only thing that we didn't destroy, you'd be surprised, girl. He would think this memory is gone. No, I'll probably get early onset dementia, for being completely honest, at one point in my life. But
ideal.
Oh God, but we're not manifesting that. But anyway, so yeah, I am. He's so hot though. Sex is so good, but ultimately, I mean,
you are gonna do it again.
I don't know.
Nick.
Would that be bad?
It's us dolls. You know you're going to do it.
Wait, I just like don't want anyone to think poorly of me.
I don't want to think, because like I already know the things that don't air on this podcast that people would absolutely actually reverse course on the fact that now this podcast is really mostly people being like Peru is
we hate you
worst, and Nick is so sweet, but in reality Peru is just real and Nick keeps secrets. But let this not be one of the secrets that you keep from our listeners and townspeople. This is okay for you to feel this way because at the end of the day, I was just listening to Bob and Monet actually on their podcast. Like somebody had said something about it, about like, you know, fucking with somebody.
A similar situation.
There is absolutely 90% wrongdoing on the other person's part, and you're just sort of someone who's just caught in it.
I'm sort of the helpless little
primarily because you didn't know from the get-go.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I probably could have gotten the hint when he told me not to text him and only respond to his text when he texts me first.
That happened to me recently by somebody who has a child.
Who has a child?
One of the people that I've met through the various things that I do lives on the West Coast. I think we may have spoken about him. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we have to cut that. But first I'm saying that. But
I didn't say anything. They didn't hear.
Yeah, because our mics are so... they don't pick shit up.
They were cheap. We're balling on a budget. What do you mean?
So I remember one time because we had been going hard on Insta DM, like hard.
This is the person you were sending videos back and forth to.
Yeah, I mean one of them, but
one of many.
Oh, which by the way, I did get sent something today from somebody. I was like, okay, yay!
I'm sorry, there's still nothing. This
is the first time that somebody. Well, what? It's like the first few times that somebody just sent me a dick pic of them. Like, but that was the first thing they sent. They hadn't sent any like hello or anything else. Like they literally just sent
the picture.
Yeah, and then I was like, someone's been listening to the podcast, and they were like, mm-hmm.
Did you rate it? Was it good? Was it good?
It was cute. And so we were talking, and then I mean obviously like I can't really be engaging with all of you as much as I want. Like I do have to go about my day. But it is.
She's busy. She's booked. She has lots of things on the docket for the day.
Horizon. But so going back to that, yeah, I remember I had texted because I was like, I can't send you this video length and this specific video on DM. And I was like, can I text it to you? It was too long.
What was it?
It was a video of me just like...
Go on, tell us.
What did you do? It was a video of me just getting like fucking like bending. Like I like spreading out on my bed and I'm just like doing like butt moves and just like, you know, touching and fingering myself and like, you know, and then just like front facing, just like jerking it and then, you know.
Oh my God. A whole production. Oh my God.
And so it was like, I can't send you this. And then I was like, can I text it to you? What's your number? Gave me his number, but then immediately after I texted him, he was like, by the way, my daughter might see this. Like, because our phones are connected. Sometimes she grabs
the
my
Apple
phone.
ID.
Sometimes she has my phone.
Oh.
So like anytime before you text me something adult, just let me know.
Give me a heads
Don't
up.
just And then I was like, oh. But so then I was like, let me just keep it. Well, I think recently
How old's the daughter? Do you know?
I mean, a child. I don't know. I don't know.
You didn't ask?
No, because it's none of my business.
Wow. You don't want to be a stepmom?
Maybe.
I'd be a stepmom to those adult children. I mean, they fully have a mother.
No, it's not an adult kid. It's a kid.
Oh, love.
Yeah, like soccer elementary school team kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, the adult children of the father that I'm hooking up with fully have a mother that he's married to, so it's a different situation.
And they're close in age, aren't they?
They're like, some of them are like older than me.
Here's the thing.
I have to laugh.
Sometimes when we talk about liking older men, like there's one thing with like being in a relationship or like a fuck relationship with someone who's like whatever, like 20 years or senior or whatever, But then when you put it in context with somebody like this dude or this daddy who has like a kid that's way older than you.
But we're cutting that. Sorry. By way older, this person is like a year or two older than me.
Okay, but then it really makes everything so much more complex.
Well,
because then this person,
I will say,
this person's literally like.
Well, when we had sex, he was like, he asked me what year my parents were born. He was like, "What year were your parents born?" And I told him, and he went, "Okay, good, they're older than me." And I was like.
I don't know.
I was like,
now we're getting in the real segment of our conversation because it's just like, I mean, this person flat out has like his kids' friends are your age.
Sure.
And so like, none of this is illegal, but a lot of this is a lot to do with like him and what he's attracted to.
Sure. I mean, he did tell me that his like attraction ranges, like he will go for any and all ages. It's kind of like that kind of thing.
Orange flag. No,
I mean like what I was saying is like he likes them in their like, you know, mid-20s like me, but he also like hooks up with people that are like similar in age to him.
Well, somebody the one like regular that we have that I told you that I'm also trying to schedule something with.
Oh, right.
This like the rich person who's like a society person, whatever, who's bi-coastal now. So he had been in town and I had said when I was free, and then he told me, hey, like I'm actually not solo on this New York trip. But then he texted me again just a few days, like on Saturday, I believe, or Friday, saying like on December 5th, I'm taking you out for drinks. Like I'm going to be solo in New York.
Oh.
But then when we had been chatting previously via text, he did ask how old I was.
What did you say? Did you give the real age?
I said, shut up. But I said an age because you know what, Nick?
What age did you say?
Nick, I'm not going to tell you.
What year did you tell me you were born in? I need to know. No, I need to know.
No.
You need to tell me what lie did you concoct for this man?
It's not a lie because I'm trying to paint a picture.
How is it not a lie?
No, because the way that
did you tell him the truth? Did you tell him the real age, or did you give him a different age?
Listen, the way.
Okay, so you lied.
Listen, the way that we have been talking.
You're fabricating.
The way that we have been talking, it was clear to me that he had a thing for like younger guys. You know, when you talk, keywords like smooth or like, you know, like tight, you know, boy pussy, that kind of like, you can tell the vibe is like he likes younger guys. And so then obviously like I'm going along with like the key phrases of like, yeah, daddy gonna take care of me, all that stuff. And then of course the question comes, it's like, wait, how old are you? And then the first
18.
The first thing I said was old enough. Winky face, which is my go-to. Old enough in comedy.
That's when you know they're old. That's when you know they're old.
Old enough. No, that's when you know that I'm not defined by age. But I said old enough, winky face, and he ate that up. He was like, LOL, wow, really? And yeah, but then I was like, no worries, I can drink, I can go into bars. And he was like, phew, okay. So he said that. And I was like, okay, first hurdle, you know, accomplished. And then he was like, no, but wait, really, tell me, because I guess he was just getting nervous. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I know I don't look like I'm 16, but like, I don't know. He was just really wanting to know. And so I said, and then I said that age.
You are a liar.
And guess what? He said?
Woof.
He said, yum. Which is also like, it has its problems. Like saying someone's yum. Do you response to somebody telling you their age is yum?
Concerning.
It's concerning, but it's the same thing. It's like this person having a kid that's the same age.
Well, and yeah, no, it is like kind of.
Yeah, but like, we're not even judging because then we're in the middle of this. Like clearly we're enjoying it, and clearly I'm a consensual adult that I like the idea of having somebody who's older than me find me like young and sexy. So that there's a lot of complexity to this.
Well, and speaking of that kind
watch this be turned into the FBI. They're like, listen.
No, but that kind of coincides with what my sex story from Wednesday, because it was this old guy.
The townspeople are going to fucking die.
Okay, so I did make a TikTok about it, so you might have already seen. But Wednesday, but it didn't like.
I didn't see it.
It didn't go as viral as I wanted it to. We've really been in a flop era. I'm like, what's going on there?
I wouldn't know about that.
Wait, I think you would. Let's look at your views. No,
about the views.
So
many ticket sales.
So anyway.
Also, thank you for everyone to my show. Sold out. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I didn't pay. I didn't contribute. But my presence.
She's flopping.
We're flopping. But my presence. I came and I cheered. I cheered the house down. No, but what was I saying? Oh, so Tuesday night I was at work and it was the first time that I was horny in like weeks. Like I have been so unhorny recently. Like I will get like maybe a couple of hours where I'm like, oh, okay, like let me go on Grindr because I want to talk to an old dude. And so
there you go again, see?
No, and I was hitting up all these like older men, and lo and behold, on my train ride home, this one who lives in like the East Village like responded, and he was like, oh my god, like I can't believe you would like be interested in me, like you're so hot. And I'm like, whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you, like whatever. And he's like what are you up to? And I was like, oh, like I'm on my way home from work. He's like, oh, any chance you could stop by like on your way? And at that point I just had gotten off of the train at my stop, and so I was like, oh, I'm home for the evening, but like, you know, like maybe later this week. And he's like, oh, like what are you doing tomorrow? Like you want to come over tomorrow after work? And I said, well, I could come in the afternoon if you're not doing anything during the day. Man works from home, so he was like, why don't you come over? And I said, great. So the next day, Wednesday, I went to the gym. I came back to my apartment, showered, douched, the whole 9 yards. He was like, great, come over. I said, perfect. I go to this man's apartment. He lives in a part of the city in the East Village. I mean, can I just say it?
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Stuytown. Like, ultimately...
I mean, there's so many fucking apartments in Stuytown.
And it's, like, adult dorms. It's so hard to find your... I had friends in college who lived there, like, after our freshman year when they all were, like, getting into their first apartment.
Some of those dorms are sketch.
Oh, the apartment buildings themselves, like, they're all, like, the same. It's hard to kind of... It's confusing. Some of the lighting is, like, not cute. It's, like, really... Anyway, I don't live for that area. It's
like hospital lighting.
It's hospital, and it's adult dorms, and it's, like, grow up.
Why are you living hospital?
Why are you living Mary Cosby? It smells like hospital in here. Oh my god, don't wreck my art on my wall, you dumb bitch. So anyway, so he meets me outside. He like meets me on the corner of the street. Like he's like, oh, I'll meet you out like closer to whatever street it was that was like where all the traffic was. So I meet him on the street. He is very chatty, very nice. He like takes me back to his apartment.
Cute.
He had like stalked my Instagram
Cute.
apparently before I got there, and so he was asking me all these questions about like comedy and like TikTok, whatever. And he's like, well, I'm an actor too. And I was like, oh, here we go. And he's like in his mid to late 50s, and he's
mid to late 50s.
Yes, he's keeping it tight though. He's keeping it tight. He was keeping it tight. And Dick, wait, okay, I'll get to it. But so we go to his apartment. On my way there, he told me that he had 2 cats. I'm allergic to cats, and like I usually try to get that information out of somebody before I go over to the apartment because first, so one, I can prepare and I can take an allergy pill, or just like don't go over and hook up with them and they just come to me instead.
Kissing, I'm into kissing, rimming, no cats.
No cats. But I usually forget about that because most people don't have cats. If we're being completely honest, it's not like really common for a lot of people to like. At least the men that
my friend Robert found dead.
I mean, at least the men.
Robert.
Hi. Oh wait, well, shout out to Robert.
Who does have 2 lovely cats,
and he listens to the pod.
And he's cute.
He's cute. He's available. He's tall. And so he was like on my way there. He's like, oh, by the way, I just adopted 2 kittens. He's like, hope you're not allergic. And I was like, oh, babe, I am. He goes, oh, well, I have allergy pills. Don't worry. Second time in my life, I've gone over to a man's apartment and they've given me a random white pill and a glass of water and they're like, here you go.
This happened recently.
I know, this happened like a month or 2 ago. Anyway, I took it. He was very nice. He kept just being like, you're so beautiful. You're so like, he's like, your eyes are so gorgeous. Like they change color in the light. Like he was like so overly like chatty and nice with me. And then we're sitting and chatting on his couch, whatever. And then I'm like telling a story about, we're talking about like we're talking about hookup nightmares and whatever that we've had from different apps or whatever. And I tell them this story that I have about this guy who I also made TikTok about recently, who's a professor who ended up trying to drug me. And I think I actually did meth with him, and it wasn't on purpose. It was fully by accident. You can watch the TikTok to get all the information. Maybe one day we'll do a whole deep dive because it's a long motherfucking story. But anyway, I told this story, and as soon as I finished, he was like, oh, so like, what drugs do you do? And I said, oh, for being completely honest, I really just smoke weed, and then I actually smoked meth, I think, that one time, and that's it. And I was like, well, what about you? And he was like, well, I've lived a life. And I went, well, yeah, you're old, so like that makes sense. Like you're in your mid to late 50s. And then he was like, and since you brought it up, I did smoke a little bit meth before you got here. Do you want some? And immediately I was like, I'm sorry, what do you, and then everything starts clicking and falling into place. I'm like, oh, that's why he's so chatty with me. He's like so obsessed with me, and like, oh, it's like so hyper fixated on like tiny your details. Eyes. My eyes,
honey, your eyes are not changing color.
But then he was like, oh, it was a while ago. He's like, do you want a hit? And I said, oh, I'm good. And he goes, okay, then I won't do any more. And I said, okay.
You were planning on doing more.
I was like, you were gonna. I mean, obviously, if I said yes, he would do more. But had I not got over there, because I didn't really confirm until like 30 minutes before I went over that I was coming. It was like kind of up in the air kind of thing. He was just casually smoking meth on his own at his own apartment, working from home. I went over to his apartment like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. He, I think, had smoked meth maybe 11 a.m. I was like, he's like, you sure you don't want to hit? I said, I'm sorry, I don't need.
He smoked meth at 11 a.m.
I was like, I'm sorry, I don't really need the hit of methamphetamines before I go clock in.
Smoked meth at 11 a.m.
I don't need that before I go clock in and do a whole 7-hour shift at the restaurant for tonight. But thank you so much. But then when we started hooking up, whatever, and his dick.
As obviously, once someone tells you they're on meth, you're like, so take my clothes off right now.
Ultimately, he was hot, and ultimately, I was like, I was really horny. I was like, I want to get pounded out. And then he pulled down his pants, and then his dick flopped out, and it was way bigger than the photos led to me to believe. And I immediately was like scared for my butthole because I was like, I cannot have another hemorrhoid. And then when he had hit me up or responded to my message originally the night prior, he was like, well, what are you into? And he told me that he was verse, and he was like, oh, I would really love for you to fuck me sometime. And I said, oh, I really kind of just say that for special occasions. And then when I went over to his apartment, he was like, he's like, I want you to fuck me so bad, but like he's like, I'm recovering from a hemorrhoid, so we can't do it today. And I said, honestly,
you're like, we're late.
I was like no, I was like, girl, twin. I was like, sisters. But also, I probably wouldn't fuck you anyway. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I've only topped once in my life. And he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And also, he would not be the kind of guy that I would. He's not the type of person that I'd first want to put my dick in, if you know what I mean. He was like a little too hairless, a little too like.
Hairless?
Like, I mean, it wasn't like
a hairless. Late 50s.
He was like, he had a really like, he was really muscly, but like smooth. Like he didn't have it, like he had like pubes, but like he didn't have like a ton of body hair. And it was like, the body hair that he did have, it was like really fair. And then he was bald. He was bald up top.
I need to see.
I'll show you pictures. I thought he was hot, but then the dick was big. I couldn't fit it all of my mouth. And then when he was trying to fuck me, he was like, "Oh, don't worry, I have like really expensive poppers. Like you're
Double
good."
Scorpio?
No, I don't know what brand it was because it didn't.
Oh, he had expensive poppers. Oh yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Girl, you know you were sniffing on some fucking ketamine or whatever.
No,
girl.
but it was like in a nice bottle. I can't remember what there wasn't a label on it, but it was like a nice bottle.
Nick, you gotta start being careful, girl.
No,
it's
but
fun right now because obviously you're fine, but like you can't be going to fucking like Titan
no, but
and getting drugs.
But I also I trusted. Ultimately, he was a very sweet man. Like
they're all sweet. Jeffrey Dahmer was really sweet.
Also, he was married, and he was telling me that he and his husband.
Married people suck. DL daddy.
No. He was telling me that he and his husband have this like twink that they have that goes to one of the colleges in the city that like will come and top both of them, and then they'll do like Eiffel Tower or whatever with each other, and they're like, and he's like I'll get fucked by the twink, and then like I'll suck off my husband, and then they high five each other while it all happens. And I was like, oh, he's like, we gotta set up, maybe we'll do a foursome sometime. I said, oh, maybe, I don't know.
If a threesome is an Eiffel Tower, what's a foursome?
The Arc de Triomphe. And then so he was fucking me. The dick went in just fine. I like ultimately he kept doing this thing. He was like push against me, babe. He's like push your hole against me, and I was like, I am. And then at one point he kind of got annoyed because he was on meth, and also because he was and also because like he was like old. He was
no, that's the title of them. Because
he was on meth. So he kept like his dick wasn't fully hard. He's like I can fuck you with a half chub or whatever. So then
famous last words. I hate that.
Oh, I don't like it either because then he was in, and then I was like pushing up against it to like put it in my butthole more, and then he was like you're pushing me out. I'm
like, no, you're just fucking flaccid.
I was like,
bitch.
yeah, you can't keep it in. Like, sorry. Anyway, so he really he also had this giant mirror that was next to his bed.
Okay,
and
back on top.
Back on board. And then he was like, he was really into like watching himself, and he was like would always like try to set up positions where we could both easily watch ourselves. And I was like, you know what? I really don't love that. I was like, I don't need to see my body in that way. I said, if you want to watch, go ahead, babe, but I'll just focus on the sensation that I'm feeling right now and just focus forward or into the pillow because I don't really want to watch that because he was like ripped, like he was like and then compared to me, which I'm like, I was looking good too. Also, he did this thing.
This is the second time, Nick.
He also did this thing. He also was like obsessed with being like, you're such a jock. Like, you're such a jock. And then would like hit me and like touch me, and he's like fuck. And then he was really into armpits too, and like licking armpits and smelling them. He's like
Timothy Champagne, Ace Carter style.
Oh,
it's a jock fantasy.
So he was like sucking me off at one point, and I had like my head, like my arms behind my head or whatever, and he was like oh yeah, like I'm so into that. Like, yeah, like you're such a jock. Like if I saw you on the train, I'd think you were straight. Mm-hmm. And I was like, sweetie, I look like the reincarnation of Shirley Temple as a toddler, Benjamin Buttoned. I'm sorry. You think I look straight?
Straight, yeah.
Thank you. That is really sweet. But I don't. I really don't. And then neither of us finished because he again on meth.
Yes.
So he couldn't.
Famously.
And then I was like, I have to go to work. And then eventually he was like kept going, and his dick was really long. I think honestly it was maybe like 8.5. Like it was like.
It's big for you.
It was yeah. And he like hit a wall, and he'd like slam it in, and I'd be like ah. And immediately I'd be like, oh no. I'd be like, oh no. I was like, don't do all that.
Intestines rearranged.
And he was very nice. Very nice. And then he wanted me to come back after work that evening for to finish. And I was way too tired afterwards. I was like, absolutely not. And then also I was like, girl, I don't know if I want to hang out with you again.
No.
Excuse me, but he did text me. I texted him and told him that because that night Peru. I met up with Peru and one of our friends, Spencer, for a little nightcap after I went to work, and then I texted this man being like, hey, I can't come over tonight, but like I'll let you, but we'll see each other again sometime, I'm sure. And he was like, yes, of course. And then I haven't heard from him since, but it is what it is. Oh, thank you. But that was a lovely time. Oh, he was honestly very nice. I didn't know he was on meth until he told me. Had he not said anything, I would have just assumed that he was just a very like active listener.
Well, now you know.
Now I know.
Pick up on these things.
Well, because I've had sex plenty of times, or not had sex, but I've gone over to men's apartments plenty of times where they were very much on meth, very much but they had just smoked it, and it was very fresh. Like the high was very like strong, and they're like tweaking out. Versus like I think because he had been probably on it for a couple of hours, it was like kind of wearing down, or like it wasn't as strong as before. But there were little remnants here and there of things were kind of coming together for me. But he was very sweet, very lovely. He did try to sell me his DSLR camera. But I was like,
Honey, this is all
I was
bad.
like, I don't really need that. He's like,
you know why he's trying to sell it, right?
Huh?
You know why he's trying to sell it, right?
He has a job, babe.
Still.
He said that he bought it during the pandemic because he was trying to. He has like a whole backstory. Like he has a whole
This is meth 101.
He was trying to because again, actor. He was trying to jumpstart his career on TikTok and YouTube.
This is how it starts. Let me tell you, I've had plenty of experiences with people on meth, and one of them is kind of sad because he used to be a good friend of mine, and we saw the decline. But it's like the number one like orange to red flag of somebody who like consumes a lot of like meth is that they're always trying to sell something, because they're always trying to be like, let me sell you this, let me sell you that. They're always in the cusp of something, right? It's like oh, I just had this new business idea, or I'm about to like this the best plan. It's like almost coke, but like with a side of just crazy. It's like,
and their dick is rock hard the whole time.
And their dick is rock hard, I suppose. Yeah. So like, it is crazy what drugs do to you.
No, it is crazy. And I was telling him when I was telling him this story.
And also, Stuytown is meth town.
Well, his apartment was beautiful. Like, that was the nicest.
Because he probably pays like $500 for rent. A lot of those apartments are like, they're
expensive. Those apartments are expensive.
Depends on which ones.
I mean, if you're living with 4 roommates, you're still probably paying like $1,500 each.
That's average,
right? But like,
but
I'm like, but even then, like those apartments that like I have been in.
He was married, you said?
He was married. It's just the two of them, and they had a lovely, gorgeous apartment. It was huge between the two of them. I'd never seen an apartment in Stuytown that looked like that before. So obviously it cost money, and like both of them have like pretty well like off jobs from the way that he was telling me about what they do and stuff, and then like also just the way that it was decorated and everything. It was nice. It was really, really nice. That's why like I felt safe the whole time. I was like, well, at least like I would have felt very differently if I had like gone into like a roach motel. You know what I mean? Which is like saying a lot, but
saying a lot of.
But I will say
socioeconomic status.
But I will say
how the luxury was he white? He was white, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's white.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So wow, the socioeconomic divide here on this podcast has been reinforced by Mr. Nick Rosenthal being like, I felt safe by somebody who was actively trying to get me to do meth because the apartment was nice.
The apartment was really nice, and he was very sweet. You didn't meet him. You didn't meet him. He was very sweet. He was very sweet.
Stop. I'm always like looking out for your safety, and then you always end up defending somebody else.
No, but your go-to is always like, they're evil. They're trying to kill you.
My go-to is always like, safety first for you,
right? And I was safe the whole time. I never felt unsafe.
I guess
even when he brought that up,
my go-to as a good friend is always like, be careful.
No, and I was being careful, and ultimately had I felt unsafe, I would have left, because like there have been plenty of times. Again, there was one time where I went to this man's apartment and he was very clearly on drugs, and it freaked me out, and I was like, and I did not stay. I was like, I was there for maybe 20 minutes. From the conversation I had with him, I was like, actually, you know what, I need to leave, but I need to come up with the plan to get out of here, in a way that isn't just so abrupt. And I left, and everything was fine and whatever, and I didn't have sex with this man, and like it was all good. But so like I know when to leave when the time comes, but no red flags. Even when he brought up the meth thing, I was mostly just kind of like, oh, weird. Like, yeah, not my first choice, but like, like I don't, again, like, I mean, I was judging a little bit.
Well, of course.
But like, I don't judge, but I almost, you know, like I'm not in a place to judge because like
no, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm not into that.
yeah, or like I'm not gonna partake, like because he did offer it to me and I said, oh no, thank you, and he was very lovely. He wasn't pushy or whatever. He's like, okay, great. He's like, I'm not gonna do anymore either.
Should. This is so funny, like just like the amount of information or like how we feel safe in whatever scenario, because to I guess circle it to, I guess, kind of wrapping up, but you know, we read all of the things that you post on our videos and on the podcast, and if you haven't left a review yet, please do so. It really helps us with the algorithm. But I was going over some of the comments that people left on one of our previous episodes, like not this last one but the one before, in which we're talking about, like, you know, me getting my triple STI, you know, the triple threat and whatever. And then, you know, like, this one person commented and they were like, yeah, he was like, or they were like, I'm not sure how they identify. They were like, oh, hey, just so you know, like, STIs, like, you know, like our bodies are becoming immune to, like, you know,
gonorrhea
or whatever. And then they were like, you know, like, so while it is good that, you know, you feel safe, like, with PrEP and whatnot, like, apparently the body has becoming resistant to, like, the antibiotics for some of these STIs or whatnot.
Oh, sure.
And so so sometimes, like, we have this, like, false sense of, like, security.
Well, yeah, because
we're like, okay, well, I'm on PrEP, so at least I'm not gonna get that one. But then disregarding the fact that actually that may be the least damaging to you if you, like, have a healthy medical relation with it. And we're talking about HIV, obviously, but, like, with any of the other ones that we find to be, like, I guess the most mundane, which are, like, the other STIs, it's like, then they may be the ones that are actually the more damaging to you in the long run if your body becomes to, like, it's desensitized from it. Or your body's just like, girl.
I don't know what it is, but no, knock on wood, I have never contracted an STI.
Well, good.
And my body said no. She said, she said, you can't come in. She said, sorry about it. Trust me, there have been attempts. There have been attempts to get me.
The only thing coming in is cum.
That one guy, he tried to give me 3 separate things, or 2 or 3 separate things, remember? Every time, didn't get it.
You're special.
I am. My body is really strong. It's really tough.
You're the chosen one.
Yeah, I'm like the Virgin Mary, but like with STIs.
Anyway, well, thanks to anybody who came to my show, if you were there, or if you like me and not Nick, which would be an anomaly in this podcast.
No, it's actually so true, because so many of the comments are like, Peru annoys the fuck out of me, but Nick, we love you. And to that I say, I love you too. Thank you so much. Actually,
why is Peru like this? Anyway, Nick smooches.
Yeah, and I'll take it. I want to be loved and adored by everybody and be unproblematic.
Listen, it's okay, because I, at the end of the day, know who the real Nick is when we're not recording, and I know.
And it's just like how you see me now.
I know his problematic behavior, and it's okay. I'm okay with taking one for the team, because
the problematic behavior in question, it's like 2 things.
2 things that could wreck your ass. Don't even play me, bitch.
Not even.
Are you out?
No.
Are you out?
No, but
okay, exactly. Anyway, so thank you to everyone.
It's money laundering, actually.
No, everyone would fucking praise you for that one, to be honest.
I'm stealing from the government.
Well, to anyone who does like me and came to Unpopular Opinions, it was a really fun show. You were there. You had a run-in with somebody. Where are we cutting that?
Well, they don't listen. They made it very clear that they don't listen to the pod.
Okay, good. Well, then, what the fuck? That's actually kind of shitty.
They're like, maybe I should start listening. I was like, you don't need to. I was like, you don't have to. But
well, it's okay, because we just reached a milestone. We have over 600 Spotify subscribers. Oh my god!
Thank you for listening. Do you have a Pioneer?
And yeah, I have a Pioneer. But before I end, hold on. Let me just finish that thought, saying that, like, I think it's really cool to, like, you know, keep the number. I think so. It's easy to, like, I think I like it when I listen to somebody and, like, they demystify stuff for me, you know. They tell me, like, why things are important. So it's like, I think it's pretty cool that, like, we have, like, over 600, like, followers on Spotify, because people are listening. And, like, you're part of, like, a group of people that, like, enjoy this content. And so if you do like this content and want to continue listening to it, it would help us a lot if you know, like, leave a comment on every episode, or, like, if you go on Apple Podcasts, if you leave a review, because that one seems to be apparently the one that, like, gets you on the on the charts and whatever.
Oh, really?
Did you know? Apparently, like, the difference between Spotify and Apple is, like, Apple's the one that, like, has, like, a lot of, like, I don't know, like, the numbers from Apple, like, you know, like the number of the reviews
impressive.
that people left or whatever. See, so if you listen to this on Apple and you haven't left us a review or something and you like it, do so. That way it can help us get, you know, more people to listen to this. But
okay, enough of the boring business stuff.
no, I still business is just building a community, Nick.
Well, whatever. What's your pioneer, bitch?
I'm a pioneer. Actually, it's gonna be a documentary I watched last night, and anyone who's a subscriber to Netflix, which I am, and yeah, I subscribe to streaming platforms because I like content. Okay, it's called, I believe it's either The Big Shot. No, not The Big Shot. The Money Shot or Big Shot, a Pornhub story.
Oh, I saw that one.
So enlightening. I believe it honestly could have done a better service to itself by making it a mini series, because he has so much information about the porn industry that it could be really.
Didn't it have like a weird kind of like narrative turn at the very end of that documentary though?
No.
Oh.
I found it to be very enlightening because it gave you both sides. It gave you the sides of like the dangers of
that's what it was. It wasn't very clear on whose side they were on.
Well, which actually makes for a great journalistic approach of like giving you both sides of what. But then at the very end, it actually gave you this. At the very end, they gave you the take of the director, who was a female director of the documentary. It was pretty clear on all of the like. Oh yeah, all these people saying that Pornhub's doing this and doing that. They're like, you know, like promoting sex trafficking and rape or whatever. It ends up being that a lot of these people who led the fucking movement against Pornhub and the porn industry, of course, spoiler alert, come from like big money in the religious industries and come from people and communities in which they like frown upon LGBTQI people, sex positivity in general. Like the whole thing at the very end is just like, wait, we've been hearing all these things from like what this is actually harming the community. When as a matter of fact, sex workers are really the only ones getting harmed in here. And it's actually my actual pioneer. Watch the documentary, really enlightening on the good work that sex workers do and how they're being damaged by all of these movements under the disguise of like sex trafficking and whatever. Really good. I found it to be and as an added, at the very end, there was a porn performer named Wolf Hudson, who I'm a very big fan of. Big person known in the bi industry. Do you know Wolf Hudson?
Heard of her.
Wolf Hudson, if you're watching, I'm clipping this for the socials. Wolf Hudson in this documentary on Netflix, not only present and this other porn performer who I will put on here, but not only did I learn so much about the work that they do, but I also found one of their videos. And mama girl, good work. Good work.
Happy for you in that journey that you went on.
You.
My trailblazer for the week, I'm going to go in a similar route. I watched a Netflix documentary as well over the weekend called Escaping Twin Flame.
Yes.
Did you watch that one?
It's on my queue.
It's crazy. It is about these two people who start this online cult where they convince these people that they can help them find their twin flame. Like, and for those who are like into astrology, or like tarot cards and things, like you hear that term and that phrase used a lot. A lot. And so it's so interesting because in this documentary, it's really blew up in the pandemic, but it's been going on since like, I would say like the early 2010s, whatever. But it's these two people who run this online kind of like coaching class where you have to pay to like take this class to like learn how to call in your twin flame and blah blah blah. And it's these two people who are just scamming the fuck out of these people, and it turns into this huge cult. And then it's like they prey on these women. It's mostly women who are just like vulnerable and like have just gone through like a major traumatic breakup, and they're like don't know what to do with their lives, and they feel like they have nowhere else to go, and like they feel like love doesn't exist, and like all these different things. And they convince these women that these men who have made it very clear that they're not interested in them are their like soulmates and twin flames, and that they must do anything at all costs to get them back. Mm-hmm. And so they endorse stalking. Mm-hmm. And like repeatedly reaching out to the person and like not and these women are getting like what is it, like what's the word, the document in which the restraining order. They're getting restraining orders. They're getting arrested. Like they're going to jail. And then every time they come back to their class and they're like, so this thing happened. I went to jail. They're like, well, clearly, like the reason you're not in harmonious union with your twin flame is because you're not doing enough. Mm-hmm. You don't love yourself. That's why they're not with you right now. And then these women are just like, you're right. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is so.
You're like looking up how to join.
No, but like it's actually so like it's crazy. Had I not been raised Catholic and been a musical theater kid in middle school and high school, and then continued on and went to theater school in college, I probably would have fallen for that shit. But because like Catholicism and specifically musical theater and theater are cults upon themselves, mm-hmm. I've dealt with that my entire.
Too many cults.
I can now recognize a cult like that, and I'm like, oh no, I will have none of that. I will not have no indoctrination. I will not fall for that shit.
Next step, meth users. And with that, support sex workers. You know, if you have an extra $5 or so, you know, if you have a content career that you like, we watch a lot of adult entertainment for free, so maybe just support one of them.
Okay, or instead of giving them money, you could just give us money instead.
Well, and we'll maybe share ways to do that.
Yeah,
at some point.
We'll maybe have a Patreon at some point. We'll maybe have a donation.
And listen,
thing.
Actually, if we can ask you all before we leave, if you would, I think we're trying to do something because we're trying to figure out our schedules for the holidays and how we're going to roll stuff out. Like, we would love to take a break for like 1 week of the holidays or something. But we would love to have like some kind of content out for anyone who wishes to, like, you know, not miss a week or something. So like, we're thinking of things that we can do for y'all. So
we're thinking of things. We're busy. So we got lots of things on the plate. So don't ask for too much.
But also keep asking because we love.
Oh yes, we need. Thank you. Bye. That's it. That's how we're ending. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. And support the world.
Follow us on at Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram and YouTube. You can follow us at Hey Peru on Instagram and TikTok at Nicholas.Rose on Instagram, Clownface Binge on TikTok, and Clownface Bitch on Twitter/X. Because this might be someone's first episode, so they don't know. They might just be popping in. So yeah, you can follow us there if you want to keep track of what we're up to and what we're doing.
And if you found it so bizarre that people were just like, wow, hating on Peru, and you were like, oh my God.
No one is shocked by that, actually. They heard that and they went, oh, that makes so much sense, actually. It's all adding up.
And to all of the haters, I love y'all too.
Okay. Bye.